Ladies and gentlemen, I have been playing video games pretty much my entire life, and when thinking back to the first genre of video games I ever really played, it would probably be a racing game at an arcade. So, over time, I have always enjoyed a good racing game. So today what we're going to do is break down the top 10 best racing games on the Nintendo Switch. My name is Robot Joe and I'm your host as always. Let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, racing games are fun. And when I was younger, I loved that movie, Talladega Nights, the Ricky Bobby movie. The Switch actually has some pretty good racing games on them, so we're going to break down the top 10. But before I do that, ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Either the end of this month or the very beginning of next month, I'm going to start streaming on Twitch. I made my Twitch account, so down below in the description is the account to my Twitch. Follow my Twitch. The very first stream we're going to do, we're going to give away like 1 million Nintendo gift cards. It's going to be a lot of fun. I truly cannot wait to hang out with all you guys. But let's just get into this video. So, speaking on great arcade racing games, one of my favorite was always the Cruisin USA games. So when I found out that Cruisin Blast was coming to the Nintendo Switch, it was a no-brainer. And some way, somehow, this game is able to give you that feeling of playing in an arcade, like it feels special, even though you're playing at home, like I do in handheld mode. I don't know how they're able to recreate that feeling, but it's amazing. It's a lot of fun. And this game is actually super freaking addicting. And the game is just really, really well made. It's actually really impressive the way this game looks and runs. And the graphics and the colors are just phenomenal. In this game, there's over 20 different cars to choose from. Or should I just say vehicles? Because some of the vehicles aren't cars. Like you can use a dinosaur, a UFO, a helicopter, or you can drive like a Lamborghini. And there's over 30 different tracks to choose from. And yeah, this game, 100%, one of the best racing games of all time in my opinion. So what about a racing game that is free? How could that make this list? Well, what if I told you that racing game that is free also is one of the best looking games on the Switch? And I'm talking about Asphalt 9 Legends. One of my favorite things to do is just play free games just to see how far you can take them and how much content there is. And Asphalt 9 was a game that I had to put down because there was just too much to do. And it looks freaking amazing. I love this game. I love traveling through all these levels. They're just so beautiful. And you know, you're getting close to first place or second place, first place, you're going back and forth. Well, you can whip your car around and smash the other car and take the win. That's awesome. It's really, really addicting to get like a perfect drift and to hit your boost at the right time. And the cars in the game actually look really, really good. And if you play it on the Switch, you get like an exclusive BMW that is Switch colors, like a red and blue BMW. Not only is this one of the best free games of all time, it's one of the best racing games of all time. So how could I make a list about the best racing games on the Nintendo Switch and not include Mario Kart, which is technically a Wii U game, but that's another conversation for another day. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just amazing. It truly is. It is the definitive Mario Kart in my opinion. My favorite is still Double Dash, but I will admit this is the best one ever created. And the strange thing is, in 2023, almost a decade after the original release of this game, there is still content coming out for this game. They are still adding characters and new courses and waves, and it's keeping this game exciting, but it's got me questioning when the hell we're gonna get a new Mario Kart game. But for the time being, this is the way to play it, man. There's a reason why this is the best-selling Switch game of all time, and by a large margin, because it's just kind of perfect, and it's fun for the whole family, and yeah, I love this game. So strangely enough, we never got an F-Zero game on the Switch, and of course that would have made the list of the top racing games on the Switch, but we did get Fast RMX. Now Fast RMX is obviously heavily inspired by the F-Zero series, and you may not know this, but this was actually a launch game on the Nintendo Switch, and it's actually a damn good one. It is a really, really cool racing game where you race through futuristic sci-fi worlds. The graphics are actually pretty impressive. This was pretty good for a launch game. It truly is. Yeah, I'm just truly confused of why we don't have F-Zero and we have this. Like, was Nintendo trying to create a new IP? Did they think this was going to be the F-Zero killer or something? I'm not sure, but regardless, it deserves to be on this list. It's a lot of fun, and you should play it. So one of my favorite styles of racing games is games where you just drift. I loved Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. It's my favorite Fast and the Furious movie. Drifting is really, really cool, and it's really, really impressive, and you can live all of that out in Inertial Drift. Set in a 90s retro future, Inertial Drift is an arcade racing with a devastatingly unique handling model and unbelievably satisfying twin-stick drift mechanics. Inertial Drift offers a whole new level of accessibility and challenge to the arcade racing genre for a driving experience unlike anything you've played before. It has unique twin stick controls for precision drifting. The right hand stick gives you total control of your drift, intuitive for new players and uniquely challenging for pros. There's over 16 cars and 20 different tracks in this game, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very immersive game, and it's very, very satisfying to get the perfect drift, and I love the whole aesthetic of this game. Me, myself, I'm a huge fan of older anime, and this reminds me of Initial D, like the drifting anime. It is so satisfying to go through some of these levels and just see the colors and get that perfect drift. This is a no-brainer. So with Mario Kart being so popular, of course there was going to be some Mario Kart clones, and Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled is exactly that. I would argue this game is right up there with Mario Kart. This game is good, and it's actually very, very impressive the way that it doesn't feel like a cheap knockoff. I kind of really like the drifting in this. Sometimes I prefer it more than Mario Kart. It feels like a little bit more grittier and more real, I guess. Like you really feel like you're racing. And yeah, it's just Mario Kart with all the Crash Bandicoot people, but this game really does shine on its own. Me, myself, I am a huge fan of Crash Bandicoot, so maybe I'm more privy to this game. If this was just another character that didn't exist and they created a new IP, just with the same exact gameplay, this game would be a hit. I think that it kind of gets overshadowed by Mario Kart because it's strictly a kart racing game, but I'm here to tell you that it's just really, really good. There's not a lot for me to explain here. It is a Crash Bandicoot Mario Kart clone, but it's a damn good one, and it's a lot of fun. And when you play this game, you're going to realize why this game is as good as it is. So most of the games on the Switch are going to be more like arcade racing or kart racing, or just not as realistic as maybe on other consoles, but Grid Autosport fills that spot. Grid Autosport is the first full-on racing simulator for the Nintendo Switch, engineered to deliver an irresistible mix of high-speed thrills and believable handling. Step into a career as a pro racer, mastering the world's fastest cars to win motorsport's most exciting races, from the hallowed asphalt of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to the narrow streets of Barcelona. The cool thing about this game is it has online and local multiplayer, and that's the best thing about racing games, is playing them with a friend or with a stranger online. When you play with somebody and you win a race, it is so freaking satisfying. You really feel like you're Speed Racer or something, and that's why I enjoy racing games. Another great thing about this game is you can customize your own controls, so you can make it personal to who you are, how you feel that the layout should be, and that just makes it more immersible, and that is where I think all racing games should shine. They should really immerse you into the game and make you feel like you're doing 100 miles an hour down a busy street without getting a ticket or getting arrested. There's an old saying that good stuff will always stand the test of time. And funny enough, one of the best racing games on the Switch is an old game that was remastered, and I'm talking about Burnout Paradise Remastered. Make action your middle name as you rule the open streets of Paradise City. In Burnout Paradise Remastered, test the limits of skill and endurance as you push the boundaries of speed itself, hurtle through hectic downtown avenues to wild mountain roads, smash through traffic, wreck your opponents, and use the open city to find shortcuts. Leave your friends in the dust and define your route to victory, or crash out in a spectacular and devastating effect. In Burnout Paradise, you have over 130 vehicles. That's amazing. You can never race all these cars in this lifetime. You have a bunch of new areas to explore, and they really did add on to a classic game. And a great thing about this game that a lot of people may not realize is even though this is a remastered game from back in the day, this game runs at 60 FPS on the Switch. That's insane. Not even some of Nintendo's own first-party stuff does that. If you've played these games from back in the day, you know how great they are. But if you don't, I'm here to tell you to check this game out. So earlier I was mentioning when I first started playing racing games, it was back in arcades, when I was just a young wee Robot Joe. Just a tiny Robot Joe, exploring the world of gaming. It's always been hard to recreate those first feelings, but now I've got you covered. I'm talking about Sega Ages Out Run. This is one of the best old classic arcade racing games of all time. I'm pretty sure this game came out in the mid-80s. This game is older than me, and it stands the test of time. I just think old arcade racing games are so charming and so fun, and I love the graphic style of them. They've held up for 30 to 40 years, and they're going to hold up for the next 100 easy. This is the 3D driving game that launched a legacy. It has new motion controls, newly added music tracks, and a new ranking system. So try to get the high score, the award-winning title that paved the road for the racing genre. Do you have what it takes to beat the clock? Have you ever heard that to appreciate something that's new, you need to go and pay homage to something that's old? If you're a fan of racing games, or just old arcade games, or just gaming in general, I challenge you to go and play this game and appreciate how far we've came. So if you're like me, you probably grew up playing with Hot Wheels and building cool tracks and smashing them and just having a lot of fun. And you probably always wondered what it would be like to being an actual Hot Wheel? Well, I'm here to tell you that one of the best racing games on the Switch is Hot Wheels Unleashed. And this is exactly what it sounds like. Racing on Hot Wheels tracks with some badass Hot Wheels cars. It's so freaking fun. Some of the tracks and races on here are so amazing and addicting. And what's cool is these are Hot Wheels tracks, like race tracks, but the background that you're not racing on is like a bedroom. So it really feels like somebody built this in their bedroom and you're hopping into the car and racing it. And obviously what we would want most out of a game like this is being able to build your own track. But don't worry, they have that covered. If you want to make a track with just like 15 loops in a row, because that's what I wanted to do when I was younger, you can now do that and actually race them. This is a freaking must-play racing game. It's so fun. Don't overlook it because it's a Hot Wheels game. Ladies and gentlemen, I love to bring you different top 10 Switch games list, whether it's open world, or the best graphics, or the best RPGs, and now the best racing games, because I appreciate every genre of gaming. In the comments below, let me know your favorite racing game. It doesn't have to be on the Switch, just let me know your favorite racing game of all time. And remember, Twitch is coming the end of this month. I'm just waiting to buy a PC, which I'll be buying in like the next 10 days, setting all this up. So follow my Twitch, the link is below. The first Twitch stream, we're giving away a bunch of Nintendo eShop gift cards, so don't miss out. Can't wait to hang out with all of you guys finally. And you guys know me, I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.